So Starmer won't rule out tax hikes. So let's be honest, most people in this country are not rich. They work, they save a bit. We all do, don't we? Maybe you've got some money in an ISA. Maybe you've got a pension. Maybe you've got some equity in your house. And everybody's basically doing what they've been told. And they've been saying that you have to do that to be a responsible adult. Been putting something away for the future. But right now, those people like you and me, we might be the ones who are hit the hardest. Because this week, Starmer was asked directly if taxes were going up. He wouldn't say no. He said, we'll do what's responsible. He said, we've made our commitments. And we know how politicians speak, don't we? And that, to me, is politicians speak for we need to raise money. And when governments need money, they go after people who are doing just about okay. The ones who've got, you know, a little bit of savings, a bit of a pension, maybe they've got some sort of second income, maybe they've got a second property or a small rental property, because you're visible. They know you've got that stuff. But they also know you can't afford expensive tax advice, because you're easier to hit quietly with things like frozen thresholds, which, if you don't know what that is, look up the term fiscal drag, because it's real and it's happening and it's been happening for years. So what are the options on the table? What can we do? Or what are they potentially going to do? They could raise capital gains tax. They could cut your ISA and reduce your personal allowance, something that's been in the news quite a bit. They could freeze more thresholds. So, yeah, fiscal drag, they could freeze that as well. They could change the pension rules. They could tax your house. They could do all sorts of stuff that normal people aren't thinking about, they haven't got advice on, and they're not prepared for. And the worst part is, you're not going to hear about it until they announce it. Usually in the budget, and this time it will be the autumn statement. And by the time it's all on the front page, it's already too late. Yeah, you can't undo it. You're going to take the hit. Now, look, I'm not saying any of this to scare you or to be all doom and gloom or anything like that. But we all really deserve to know what's coming and what could happen. And more than that, we all deserve to be able to be ready. Because the ones who will be okay are the ones who are going to adapt quickly, who don't wait till the autumn statement to worry and scramble about and try and fix something or cut their spending or whatever it is that you do in relation to any announcements like that. And that's kind of where I want to shift this conversation to. From fear to preparation. Let's say you've got a bit of money saved up. You know, it's just sitting in your bank. What could you do with it? So it's not just sitting there losing value to inflation. Because inflation is eroding your savings. Saving isn't saving. Saving is losing. So what if you could turn it into something that grows, even while everything else is tightening up? Let's say you've got a second income idea or a side hustle. How would you structure it so you don't get taxed on every penny that you make? Do you know? Or let's say you've bought an investment property, a buy-to-let property, or you've thought about doing it. but you felt unsure and you don't know where to go. What if you could learn how to do all this and make sure that you're protected and your family's protected from these changes, because changes will come. So even when the news sounds all doom and gloom, we need to be able to identify the opportunity in these headlines. Because here's the truth, most people don't hear. And the truth is that you don't need to be rich to build something solid. You don't. You don't need to be smart. You don't need to be the most educated person in the room. And you don't need to wait for perfection to be able to start either. And that's exactly why we created property.school. Not just to talk about property, but to teach people how to think differently about wealth, about income, about security, how to build something that gives you options. Even when the government keeps changing the rules, because they do all the time. We teach you how to build multiple income streams from property, how to use what you already have to grow something for your future, how to legally reduce your tax exposure, how to make smart decisions around property, savings and strategy, how to adapt quickly when the rules shift. You know, we've got the Renters' Rights Bill about to be passed into law very, very soon. We teach you how to handle that so you don't get caught out. There's also new content every week. There's instant access to everything we've put in there so far. And it's all for less than 50p a day. Plus, you can cancel anytime. So I just want you to go and check it out. Go and have a look at property.school/go. You can type that into your browser. property.school/go. Let me share it on the screen. There we go. property.school/go. And just check it out. Like I say, there's no risk because you can cancel anytime. And if you're someone who's worked hard and tried to do the right thing all your life, you shouldn't have to feel like the system is working against you. You should feel equipped. You should feel informed. Plus, you should be able to be one step ahead, not one step behind. And I want to leave you with something a little bit more practical on this video, because it's easy to hear all this and feel a bit overwhelmed. You know, taxes might go up, the economy's uncertain, everything costs more, and you're sat there wondering if you're already behind, if you can actually do anything about it. And I get it. You might feel like there's absolutely nothing you can do. Maybe you don't have the money, maybe you don't have the education, but let me tell you something that took me years to learn. You don't fix it all at once. You just take one small step forwards. That's all you do. You just keep taking one small step forwards. And that's how people build real wealth. Not through luck. Not through lawyers and finding clever workarounds. Just small decisions repeated over. You don't need to become a tax expert overnight or anything like that. Just start small and keep making that progress. So, on tax, if you don't actually know what your tax code is or what your tax position is, just go and check out what your tax code is. Just go and have a look. Go and see what it is. Look at your allowances. Understand where your money's actually going. You don't need to be an accountant. You just need to be aware. And then ask yourself, could it be working harder for you? Is there a way to use this that gives you income? Most people think that the answer is just to play it safe. But right now, saving isn't actually saving. It's not safe. It's costing you because of inflation. Savers are losers. The government doesn't care if you're sensible. They tax whatever they can get away with. So the smart people, they understand that and they do stuff about it. They don't panic. What you need to do is learn how to adapt. If you've got a job, that's great. Could you add a second income stream? Could you rent out a room in your house? Could you start small in property? Could you help a landlord manage a property and do a profit share with them so it doesn't actually cost you any money at all? There are dozens of ways to build income beyond your payslip. But most people never start. Not because they're lazy, but because no one ever showed them how. It is that simple. And that's why I'm so passionate about property.school. It's not a course, it's a platform that shows you how to think differently about earning, about saving, and about growth. And if you're already a bit further on, we'll help you scale too. We'll also help you reduce your tax bill. Not through guesswork, but through structure, help and support, and through strategy. Through being in a community of people who are figuring this stuff out too. Some people will be ahead of you, you'll be ahead of others, and everybody just works together to help themselves out, help each other out. That's what I wish I had when I started. That's why we built it. So, wherever you're at right now, if you're in debt, if you're starting again, saving for the first time or already on your second deal, this is for you. It's not too late, you're not behind, but you do need to start. So go check it out, property.school/go. You'll be in within 30 seconds. There's no contract, you can cancel anytime. But at least give yourself a chance to learn this stuff that no one else is teaching, apart from inside the school. If you've got questions, drop them in the comments, I'll answer what I can, and I'll see you inside.